Hey folks, Jordan with the Young Turks and TYT Politics. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely Thursday, the 27th of July. I've been here in New York working on a few things, doing stories as usual about the Flint water crisis, which is still a crisis, as well as some other stories I'm working on. But yesterday I reported first on the arrest of an IT staffer for the House of Representatives. This man's name is Imran Awan. Imran Awan. And he has been an IT staffer for a series of House Democrats for many, many years. But he was paid on the payroll by one Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Have you ever heard of Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Yeah, she's an interesting figure, I would say. So Imran Awan was the IT staffer for Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as well as other House Democrats. And Imran Awan was arrested, I believe on Monday, trying to flee the country. He has been investigated for months by Capitol Hill Police, him as well as his family members, for possible theft of sensitive data as well as untoward things with that sensitive data and equipment. So let me give you a background real quick on who Imran Awan is, so you have full context here. Flip it around for you.
Yeah, as the IT guy, he was the one who set up email accounts for members of Congress, for dozens of them, so he could read any email sent and received by all these members of Congress, these several dozen, including members of very sensitive committees, and he could get any files that were on their hard drive.
Right.
One more time.
In reading your reportage on this, it's very clear that this guy allegedly did a lot of shady stuff, but it was the access to very powerful Democrats that has a lot of people worried.
Yeah, as the IT guy, he was the one who set up email accounts for members of Congress, for dozens of them, so he could read any email sent and received by all these members of Congress, these several dozen, including members of very sensitive committees, and he could get any files that were on their hard drive.
Right. Explain this to me.
So, he was the email guy. Hold on one second. I'm working on it. We're working on getting a studio here and making it look nice and professional, so stick with me, I know. So, email guy set up email accounts for all the Democrats that he worked for, which included Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Had access to those emails. So, interesting that this gentleman, Imran Awan, in February of this year, all of the House Democrats, once the original suspicions of him and the investigation into him began in February of this year, again, for theft of equipment, among other things, maybe theft of data, there was one House Democrat who did not fire him. Take a guess who? And share this video. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So you have all the other House Democrats fired him, yet Debbie Wasserman Schultz did not. And then, months later, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was shown on camera at a public hearing threatening the Capitol Hill Police because the Capitol Hill Police had seized, let me give you the full context here. The Capitol Hill Police had found a laptop in a building, not Debbie Wasserman Schultz's office, but a separate building. They found a laptop and they seized it. And it was a laptop that belonged to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, but Debbie Wasserman, and they kept it because they're investigating Imran Awan. So they kept this laptop that belonged to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz literally threatened a Capitol Hill head of security that with consequences, if they did not return that laptop. So you have February of this year, all the House Democrats basically fire this guy. Fire him and his family members who have been doing IT for them for months. Debbie Wasserman Schultz keeps him on. And by the way, Debbie Wasserman Schultz's office called him a part-time worker. So why would they keep him on if he was under investigation and he was just a part-time worker? Wouldn't you let him go? All the other House Democrats did. So why did Debbie Wasserman Schultz have such an affinity or an interest in keeping this person on the payroll? This person who set up her email and had access to her email. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but common sense would dictate maybe she's afraid he has information on her or access to information she don't want getting out there. That's not a Bernie bro saying that. That's just common sense. Every other House Democrat fires him but her? And share this video. So let me read you the latest. This is from the Miami Herald. When a computer expert who worked for congressional Democrats was accused of stealing computers and data systems in February, members of Congress cut him loose within days, leaving Imran Awan with no supporters 5 months later, except for Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The Weston Democrat has not explained in detail why she continued to employ Awan until Tuesday when she fired him, after he was arrested on bank fraud charges at Dulles International Airport in Virginia, attempting to board a flight to Pakistan. By the way, his family is from Pakistan, so that's why trying to leave the country, he was going to Pakistan. And his wife had wired $280,000 to Pakistan. And she has not elaborated on what work Awan did for her after he lost access to the House computer network. So when the investigation began in February, he lost access. So this is the IT email guy who lost access to the House emails and the House data, yet Debbie Wasserman Schultz kept him on the payroll. Well, if your IT guy doesn't have access to your systems, what are you paying for him? He making cocktails with umbrellas in the office for you, Debbie? What exactly was Debbie Wasserman Schultz paying this man to do if for months he had no access to the servers or emails or any of that? You know in your office, if there's a computer issue, the IT guy steps in and looks at, sometimes you even share your computer screen with the IT person. So she kept him on months later after every other congressperson that Imran had done work on, she kept him on. So this part-time worker that you have no special relationship with, there's nothing untoward here, you kept him on for a reason, I would think. So again, and she has not elaborated on what work Awan did for her after he lost access to the House computer network. She declined to answer questions about Awan in Washington on Wednesday, and her spokesperson David Damron accompanied her to the House floor while instructing a reporter that Wasserman Schultz would not take questions about her former employee. Well, why wouldn't you take questions if your IT employee was literally arrested trying to flee the country while under criminal investigation? Why would you not take questions on that? You are a public representative. You are a public servant. You owe an explanation for this. Am I wrong? So, Wednesday evening, so last night, Wasserman Schultz released a statement. Quote, "After details of the investigation were reviewed with us, my office was provided no evidence to indicate that laws have been broken, which over time raised troubling concerns about due process, fair treatment, and potential ethnic and religious profiling. Upon learning of his arrest, he was terminated." Okay, so apparently Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as opposed to several other House Democrats, is clairvoyant. She sees something that everybody else who fired the man doesn't see. And by the way, in fairness, in America, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Imran has not been convicted of anything yet. So it doesn't look good, but they are allegations at this point of stolen computer software and things like that. But all these other House Democrats, they didn't see racial profiling going on or unfair treatment or due process violations. They felt, oh, this guy is under a criminal investigation, and while he's under a criminal investigation for possible data theft, maybe it's not a good idea to keep him on the payroll. Common sense. I don't care if you're Arab or Irish or Jewish or Catholic or an alien. If you're under criminal investigation for possible data theft, you might want to put that person either on a suspension or let him go. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz is the only one who kept him on. Very interesting, folks. So Damron, Wasserman Schultz's spokesperson, told the Miami Herald that Awan was still working for Wasserman Schultz in an advisory role until Monday and was fired Tuesday. Wasserman Schultz was one of more than 24 Democrats in Congress who employed Awan, 37, and 4 other information technology staffers accused in February of stealing computer systems. So let me get this straight. And anybody who works in IT, please leave your comments. If in February of 2017, you are literally fired by, it looks like 24, maybe not 24, but he has worked for at least 24 Democrats over the last decade. You're fired by, and you're only kept on the payroll by one representative, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Yet your access is restricted, so you can't get in. You cannot get in to her computer system, her emails, whatever the house server is, to troubleshoot. That's what IT people do, amongst other things, to troubleshoot. So he's moved from an IT specialist to an advisory. An advisor? What exactly is an IT advisor? Somebody who advises Debbie Wasserman Schultz how to fix her computer? Somebody who advises Debbie Wasserman Schultz on what to mix in her vodka and soda? What cocktail is missing? What exactly does that mean? An advisor role, an IT advisor. If an IT person literally cannot access the servers, cannot access the emails, cannot access anything to actually perform information technology assistance, what is he advising her on? Something don't smell right, folks. Something don't smell right. And by the way, for the haters, oh, Jordan, here you go again. You're going after Debbie, and you're going after Hillary, and you're going after this, and you're going after the Democrats. No, I'm going after corruption. I'm going after corruption. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the facts are the facts, has been a corrupt figure. She has not been neutral as the DNC chair. She obviously, as WikiLeaks showed, tilted the primary in the favor of Hillary Clinton. And she is still a leading figure in the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi recently went down there for a fundraiser with her in southern Florida. And she is a leading Democratic figure, particularly with fundraising. So this is worth coverage. And by the way, there's a hell of a lot more evidence here that doesn't make sense and smells suspicious than the ridiculous charges against Bernie and Jane Sanders, which, as I've reported, as Andrew Jones has reported, is pretty much a witch hunt at this point. And you could go watch those videos on youtube.com/2ytpolitics. But why is it that every Democrat fired Imran in February? His access was restricted, but Debbie Wasserman Schultz kept him on. That doesn't make sense, folks. That doesn't make sense. And by the way, I reached out to Debbie Wasserman Schultz's office, waiting for comment. I'm sure that will come. They don't like me. But months after Awan was fired by everyone else, Wasserman Schultz grilled Capitol Police Chief Matthew Verderosa in May over why computer equipment was confiscated from her office as part of the investigation into Awan, even though she was not under investigation. If you saw my video yesterday, I showed you the clip of her saying, "There will be consequences if you don't return my laptop." Which, by the way, I'm working on getting an interview with a lawyer, could be obstruction of justice, what she did there. That could be obstruction of justice, threatening a capital police officer with consequences if you don't give me my equipment back that right now is part of a criminal investigation into your IT staffer. So I don't think Debbie Wasserman Schultz is asking for that laptop back because she's misses her bingo game, or she doesn't have access to online poker. There's something on those laptops she don't want the Capitol Police to be looking at. And in fairness, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is, as far as we know, is not under investigation. However, sometimes when you're investigating one person, if you see things that are untoward or criminal about another, that's fair game. So no wonder she wants her laptop back. Let me show you one other snippet from this interview.
No, but there are parallels in that Capitol Police have been investigating this breach since February. They found a laptop that was hidden in an abandoned office building in the house, and they seized it for evidence purposes against Imran Awan. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz, in a very bizarre exchange, threatened the Capitol Police and said, "That's my laptop, and you're not allowed to see it. You have to give it back."
Why wouldn't she want to turn the laptop over?
Yeah, that's what we don't know. You would think that, it could happen to anyone that you hire a guy who turns out to be a bad guy. But if that happens, you want to make sure that they can have the evidence to prosecute him, especially if, you're someone in her position where you've been burned before by these cyber issues.
Okay. Luke, his attorneys...
So I really, it pains me to even ever compliment a Fox News person with a good question. But he's right. Why wouldn't she want to hand over her laptop to get to the bottom of this? Why wouldn't she want... What does she have to hide? And why did she keep this person on? She was the only representative that kept this individual on after there was a criminal investigation open to him. His restriction, his access to the emails, to the data was severely restricted. Why does she want that laptop back? And why did she keep him on? All questions that Debbie Wasserman Schultz has not answered. And by the way, he's a part-time advisor, so he moves from full-time to part-time? How is he part-time if he worked for many, many other Democrats? That sounds like full-time to me. And what is an IT advisor? What does that person do if they don't have access to actually fix technological problems? So, another part of this is the fact that FBI agents smashed computer hard drives from the home of Florida Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz's IT administrator, according to two sources with knowledge of the investigation. This was from a Daily Caller piece on Sunday. Again, not Debbie Wasserman Schultz's home, Imran's home. Pakistani-born Imran Awan, longtime right-hand IT aide to the former Democratic National Committee chairwoman, has since desperately tried to get the hard drives back. An individual whom FBI investigators interviewed in the case told the Daily Caller. An additional source in Congress with direct knowledge of the case, speaking on the condition of anonymity of the sensitivity of the probe, confirmed that the FBI has joined what Politico previously described as a Capitol Police criminal probe into, quote, serious potential illegal violations on the House IT network by Imran and three of his relatives, who had access to the emails and files of the more than 24 House Democrats who employed them on a part-time basis. Capitol Police have also seized computer equipment tied to the Florida lawmaker. Folks, I don't want to declare like George Bush, we got her, we got him. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is hiding something. I mean, that's plain as the sky can see. And Imran Awan has access to whatever it is she was hiding. So she's desperately trying to get that back. And she's praying that the Capitol Hill Police did not find whatever the hell she doesn't want them to find on that laptop. That's the rub, folks. And just so you know, because the circle of corruption is very, very fluid, Imran's lawyer goes by the name of Christopher Gowan. Let me tell you his bio. Mr. Gowan left the public defender's office to work for President William Jefferson Clinton and then Senator Hillary Clinton. Chris was a fact checker for President Clinton's memoir, My Life. He also served as a traveling aide for President Clinton's national and international trips. Chris finished his tenure with the Clintons by directing the advance operations for then Senator Hillary Clinton during her 2008 presidential campaign. That is who is representing Imran. Not a crime that he worked for Bill and Hillary Clinton, but it's just, kind of a unique coincidence, I guess, that this is Imran's attorney. This is Imran's attorney, a lawyer who previously worked for Bill and Hillary Clinton. Circle of corruption, my friends. So, I will continue following up on this. You can't win with some people. Some people criticize me, oh, Jordan, you don't cover X, you don't cover Y, you don't cover this, you don't cover the DNC lawsuit. But then when I go to cover things, they're like, where have you been? You haven't covered, why are you months late? Because I'm busy. I'm covering many, many things. I can't jump. The minute you say jump, I'm covering many different things. You have no idea what I'm doing all day. I'm on the phone majority of the day. This week, I've literally gone through 700 documents pertaining to Flint. Okay? So, let's chill out, everybody. And by the way, leave it in the comments. When you say you want me to cover the DNC fraud lawsuit, could you tell me specifically, capital S, specifically what you want me to cover? As far as I know, There is no next court date. As far as I know, I've interviewed the lawyers twice, even after they went online and harassed me. As far as I know, there's no movement in the case. Like I said on Twitter, it's unfortunate that the lawyers have been getting death threats. I feel for them, but that's not like a news story that I'm going to cover. A lot of people get death threats, including me. When citizens or lawyers decide to sue the Democratic National Committee, they become public figures. So if they're getting death threats, that sucks, but that's not something that I can spend a lot of time on, unfortunately. I can't jump just because certain lawyers think it's important for me to cover something. I've tried my best to cover it, but when there is new developments in that case, I will be the first one to cover it. You got my word. So, follow me at Jordan Sheridan on Twitter, TYT Politics, youtube.com/TYT Politics, and I will follow up and keep covering this case with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Peace out.